Today's video is sponsored by Michaels. Hi everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. Today, if you couldn't tell by the title, we are going to be painting some glass ornaments, and this is my first time doing it. I've been wanting to paint some glass ornaments for a while, ever since I went to Michaels and I saw them in their store. They have this like big pack of glass ornaments by Art Minds, and I'm also going to pick up some little like wooden ornaments as well, because these are like perfect to paint on. I've always wanted to paint my own ornaments, so I'm so excited right now. I picked up a bunch though. I ended up going back for a lot more glass ornaments because that pack wasn't enough. And here I am getting distracted by all of the Christmas decorations. I had to get this mini little tree. We haven't gotten our official like Christmas tree yet, so this little guy will do for now until we get our real tree. But yeah, I'm just gonna get out all of the stuff I got from Michaels. I got the glass ornaments and then these wooden ornaments. If you guys remember from my fall DIY video, I painted some wooden coasters that looked exactly like this, and this is how they turned out. So I think I'm gonna paint some of these ornaments kind of in that style because I love those so much to hang up on the tree. I'm not gonna be doing that in this video, but I'll probably do it on a Twitch stream. But yeah, now I'm just getting out my Liquitex Basics acrylic paints that I got from Michaels. I have been loving these this year. I got the huge pack, so it comes with like every color. So I'm gonna use a lot of warm tones, I'm thinking, for a lot of my ornaments. So I'm gonna do a lot of like reds, ochre colors, tans, and then I put some like gray and greens in there. But I want it to be mostly warm toned for like all over my Christmas tree, just because one of my favorite things is like that middle point between the fall season and the Christmas season. Everything starts feeling like much more cozy, so I just love this time of year. But yeah, now I'm just hanging up my ornaments to dry on this little like tool hook thing that I have, and I just let it dry for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. And once it dries, you can totally like sketch on top of the acrylic paint, which is nice. So I just sketched out what I'm going to be drawing on the front and then adding these tiny little details. And now I'm gonna get out my Posca paint pen, and I love these pens. They are basically acrylic paint in a pen, and I have like pretty much all of the colors that they have. I have like a huge pack of them and I love them all so much. But I have a couple of like extra fine ones. I think the one I'm using here is an extra fine beige color, and then most of the other ones that I have are just the fine ones, but I love them so much for detailing, and they go onto the glass like perfectly. I thought they might be a little streaky on glass or smudgy, but it turned out perfect, and this is the final first ornament. And honestly, I think it turned out pretty cute. I wanted to keep it simple for the first one, just to kind of get the hang of like how the paint dries on the ornament and just kind of get the hang of things. But now I want to like really go in and paint an entire ornament. So what I'm doing is just painting this first layer all over basically, and it does kind of get a little streaky sometimes. So I just let this first layer dry fully on my little drying hook, and then I went in and did that second layer, and it turned out literally perfect. I was expecting in the beginning to maybe have to do a third layer, but 2 layers was like completely fine. One thing I realized though is that when you take the top off, it's not painted on the inner part, that little like part where the hook goes on. So for the next ones, I'm going to be taking all of those off and I'll be painting the full thing, just to make it consistent throughout the whole ornament instead of having that little blank spot. This time I'm going in with a white paint for the first layer. My reasoning for this originally was because I thought it would save me a little bit of my colored paint if I did my first layer as white paint instead, since I have a ton of white paint, but I only have like so much of each color in those little tubes. But I realized as I was painting that layer that it looks streaky. If you're going for this kind of like streaky effect, which it does look kind of cool, especially this gray one, then you can totally do that. But I wanted the whole thing to be like a solid color, so I scrapped that idea of doing the white paint first, and I just am now going in with 2 layers of the same like colored paint. I'm trying to make all of them kind of like muted, very like aesthetically pleasing colors. And to do this, for each one, I put a little bit of gray or tan in each one. So instead of it being like a bright blue or a bright orange, if you put a little bit of gray or tan in there, it kind of mutes the colors down a little bit and you get these really, really pretty colors, in my opinion. It's honestly just based on preference, but I kind of like colors that are muted down just a bit. My palette was getting really dirty, so I just cleaned it off really quick. The acrylic paints come off pretty easily on ceramic palettes, so I didn't have to take long to do that. And now I'm just placing all of my ornaments to dry in their original container, and I'm going to set those off to the side. I realized when looking at these colors though that I was missing like a lighter kind of tannish pink color, so I went ahead and painted this last ornament. I've kind of gotten the hang of now knowing where to place my fingers when painting. I kind of just stick my pinky finger into the ornament like opening, and that kind of works pretty well so that I don't like touch anything on the outside. But if you guys know of another way to do this, I could not figure out another way to like hold the ornament while painting it. But anyways, I am just doing a little floral design on this one, and I'm adding in some little sparkly dots and stuff with my Posca pens, and this is how this one turned out. So while I'm still waiting for all of the like painted ornaments to dry, I'm gonna get out some blank glass ones, and I'm going to do some little mushroom designs. I love the fall season. I don't know about you guys, but if you couldn't tell, these last like 3 months I've been doing just all fall themed kind of paintings, and I love it so much. I'm gonna be so sad when fall is like officially over. So I'm trying to embrace the fall season within the winter, like Christmas season this year. So I wanted to do a lot of like fall themed ornaments to hang up on the tree. In one of my videos I posted, I think it was my witchy watercolor one, I was telling you guys how one of my like bucket list items is to actually see in real life a red spotted mushroom, because all of the mushrooms where I live are just like plain and tan. And so many of you guys in the comments were responding and saying that they're like in your area, but they're super poisonous. But I still am on the hunt for these red spotted mushrooms. So I'm gonna have to take like a hiking trip at some point to another country, or I think someone said they're in New York too. And someday I will see a red spotted mushroom. You can mark my words. It's gonna happen. But anyways, I'm now moving on to more of like a wintry themed ornament. So I'm gonna be doing like a little bit of sprigs of spruce all over, and then I'm going to do some like sparkles around it. And at this point in the painting process, I'm not gonna lie, I was so tired. For some reason, I would definitely suggest starting with like, I don't know, like 3 to 4 ornaments maybe, and then maybe the next weekend doing a few more. The thing about painting ornaments is that each layer has to dry in between. So you have to put on the first layer and then wait for it to dry. Put on the second layer, wait for it to dry, and then start painting the details, wait for that to dry so that you don't smudge anything, and then you go in with like your paint pen or your like detailing fine liner, and then do that, and it takes so long. So this video in its entirety has been the most footage I've ever had for a video before. I think this video took me 3 days to film, but honestly, I was enjoying painting all of these so much that like I didn't even care. I just kept going. It was totally fine. But yeah, I would definitely suggest doing like a few at a time, maybe not doing, I don't even know how many I painted, but I think it was close to 30 ornaments. But yeah, anyways, right now I am painting a little like magical, kind of like witchy ornament. And this one actually ended up being one of my favorites. I don't know why, but I just love how each one is like a little doodle. I just love it. So I wanted to do like a bunch of, I don't know, creepy eyes and hands and some birds and some potions. I thought it'd be cute to have like a little ornament dedicated to Halloween, but in pretty colors. But yeah, this is how my magical little witchy ornament turned out. All right, now back to the painted ornaments. I'm gonna do one that has like mistletoe all over. You have to be careful when sketching on these acrylic paints, and also it's glass, so you don't want it to like break or anything. You just want to be gentle, especially because if you go too hard with your pencil, the paint will kind of scrape off. So you just want to go in with a very light hand. But yeah, I wanted to do one with a bunch of mistletoe and have it against this really pretty ochre color. I don't think I've ever seen mistletoe in real life now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe that should go on my bucket list too of things to see in my lifetime. I need to find some mistletoe this year. That's gonna be on my bucket list for the year, or for this winter season. But yeah, now I'm going in with the Sakura Micro Perm Ultra Fine Liner pen, just to add some like outside detailing to be a little more like prominent. This pen is actually really cool. You can pretty much put it on any surface, I think. It's kind of like a Sharpie, but in fine liner form, which is so cool. I didn't even know it honestly existed until I found this pen. So yeah, and then I'm just gonna go in for the rest of the mistletoe with my Posca pen and add some highlights, and this one is complete. And I think I'm gonna make a ton of this exact design to put in my shop because I think it's so beautiful. I don't know how many I'll be able to do, but I'm hoping to have at least a little bit to put in there from a few different designs from this video. But yeah, definitely check that out if you guys are interested in that. And now I'm gonna move on to my next design. I wanted to base this one off of a painting that I've done in the past of kind of like overlaying canyons. So I just did that, and then I am just adding some stripes to the rest just to make it look like not blank in the back. This one was hard because to make that like arch was kind of difficult just because it's a rounded bulb, so it's really hard to make perfect shapes a lot of the time, but it ended up turning out pretty cute in my opinion. And after doing that one, it kind of got me thinking of an idea to do for these next few ornaments that I'll be doing. Kind of like doing layered mountain scenes in all different colors. This one originally I was painting to be a ocean, but you'll see later it ends up turning out looking more like mountains. So all of these are going to be mountain scenes, just in different colors. So I painted the first layers on each one, and then I'm just going in with the second layer once they're dry, and it ended up working out. By the time I got done with like the third ornament, the first one was completely dry, so I could do all of the like other layers on top. But yeah, this one I was trying to make look like ocean waves, but honestly to me it looks like a bunch of mountains instead. So I kind of wanted to do like a sun peeking out of the mountains, and I wanted to put a bunch of like sparkles in the sky. And yeah, this is how this one turned out. I think this one was my favorite out of all of the mountain scenes, but the other ones turned out really cute too. You'll see I did this pink color, did a little moon again. The moon is like, the moon and the sparkles I can't get away from on these guys. It's so hard not to do sparkles and moons on these. I just think it looks adorable. But just imagine like all of these hanging up on my Christmas tree. I cannot wait. For now, I just did like a test hang up on my small tree that I got from Michael's. but Nick and I are so excited to get our real tree. I'm so excited. This is our first Christmas that we'll be spending together in our apartment. We have been together for 8 years. 8 years? Yeah, I think so. And at the start of this year, I think it was like January or February, we moved into our first apartment together, which was very exciting. And so this will be our first Christmas in our apartment, and we're just gonna go all out. That's why I wanted to do custom painted ornaments that I could hang up for our first Christmas. I thought it would be special to have like our own ornaments that we made and painted and can hang up together. So I actually set aside a whole box of glass ornaments so that he could paint the rest. That way we both have some like art on the tree. I don't know, I thought it would be a fun idea. So I'm really excited to like see how the full tree comes out. I'll definitely post the tree once it's all decorated on like Instagram or something so you guys can see all the ornaments hanging up, but I don't want to get the tree too early. I think we're gonna get it probably the first day of December maybe, or somewhere around then, just so it doesn't dry out too quickly. But anyways, I'm just painting this. I'm painting another fall themed ornament. Surprise. This one is definitely inspired by autumn like leaves and mushrooms. I put some acorns on there. I think this one might be one of my favorite ones out of the batch. And I wanted to add a lot of detail to this one, so I'm again using my micro perm fine liner to go in with the last details. I can't let fall go, guys. I think we have a whole nother month of fall. Actually, winter doesn't actually officially start until December 20th, I think, which is kind of crazy to me. I did not really realize that. So I'm definitely keeping up all of my fall decor along with my winter ones well into December. I cannot let go of that. But yeah, this is the final little fall painted ornament. We're gonna do a few more and then I'll show you guys how I put a finishing on them so that the paint doesn't scrape off, and also how I make the little ribbons for the ties on the top. But for now, we're doing one more fall. We're doing another fall themed ornament. Don't roast me in the comments, but this one is probably my least favorite, honestly, ornament out of all of them. I didn't spend much time doing this one. I kind of wish I did more detailing of like the actual leaves with like, I don't know, more paint instead of just going in with my Posca markers. So this one's probably my least favorite out of all of them. Not gonna lie. I thought adding these little like sprigs of, I don't even know what this is, but some little like dainty like sprigs of things would help, but I don't know, it's still kind of cute. It's just not my favorite one out of the batch. So we're gonna move on. So this one had a little chip on the paint. It was just on the paint, not on the actual like glass. So I think I smudged it with my finger or something. So I decided to have that as my middle part that I'm gonna paint over, and it ended up working out perfectly. I wanted to make this one like a magical little moth guy. Kind of like a Luna moth. I don't remember what this kind of like moth is called. The one with the cool like antlers that look like leaves. I don't know, but I thought it would look cool on this kind of like gray colored ornament. So I did that, and if you don't like bugs, then you could totally skip this one. But I love bugs. I pretty much think all bugs are really cute, except for I do not vibe with the daddy long leg spiders and mosquito hawks. They both look pretty much the same, but I don't know what it is about their huge legs that scare me, but I cannot do it. Pretty much every other bug is okay in my book, but those two are no. And cockroaches, no. But yeah, anyways, moving on. I, of course, had to do a moon ornament. And to do these leaves, I actually used this paintbrush that I never, ever pick up usually. But it's this one with a really long, thin kind of brush on the end. And it's usually like not very I don't know. I don't really use it for anything, but it worked perfectly for these leaves. So if you're like me and have been having a brush like that just laying around for forever, not knowing what to do with it, I would definitely use it for like ferns. You could even use it on like watercolor paintings or whatever, but it worked perfectly for this little ornament. And this is officially the last ornament I'm going to be doing, and then I'll get into how I finish them. But I'm just doing a little I don't know, a little leaf fern themed ornament. And I'm kind of doing it where the colors are ombre. So I start out with like a darker color on top, and then I add a little bit of white in, and then I keep getting it lighter toward the bottom. And I think it turned out really cute. I don't know what made me think of this idea, but I knew I wanted to do like an ombre leaf themed one. Now that I think about it, it would have been really cool to paint a whole ornament with a ombre effect, but I won't even know how to begin to do that. I honestly kind of want to try it now though, but this is how the last ornament came out, and now we are going to make sure that they don't chip by finishing them off with a finishing spray. The one I'm using is this Krylon Crystal Clear finishing spray that I got from Michael's, but basically you want to spray each ornament 2 to 3 times, which means you have to spray it, leave it for a couple hours, and come back. So if you can hang them all up at once, that would be probably ideal, just so you can do them all at one time. It worked really well for the fully painted ornaments, but for the ornaments that were like the one I showed with the glass on top, it kind of made the glass a little frosted. It didn't look as clear anymore. So I think I'm gonna go back to Michael's and get more of like a paint on clear finish so that I can just paint over the painted parts of the ornament. But moving on to the ribbon that we're gonna put on each ornament, I got some just some cloth from my local fabric store. I don't really know a lot about fabrics, so I just went with like kind of silky materials, and I just started cutting like strips of them. If you guys know of a better way to cut cloth in a line, I would love to hear that, but I was just basically trying to go over the line that I drew with my ruler. I was cutting about 10-inch strips of ribbon here, but I found that I liked having a little bit more ribbon on the tie part to kind of like hang off, so I would suggest doing like more like 12 inches or 13, and then I would just feed them through the little loop, and this is kind of how they turned out. I think this gold ribbon is definitely my favorite because it kind of frays on the edges, but I love all of them. It's just gonna be so magical seeing like the whole tree come together with all of the painted ornaments. I'm so excited, and I think I'm gonna paint a couple more to give to each of my friends for Christmas, because this is like the perfect gift for people, I feel like, is a hand painted ornament. I'm so excited about them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to Michael's for sponsoring. I'll link all of the supplies that I used from Michael's in my description below, so you can check all of those out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.